show on the road. Sorry, what the fuck? I am. I think we're ready to rock. It's decent. Decent. Right, audio check, audio check. Decent. Right, audio check, audio check. Here we go then. Getting used to this. Great thing is I'm not working tomorrow, so I've been able to have a nice strong coffee this week. So, you know, very often doing these at this time, I'm not too awake, but this week I feel pretty good. I had a nice strong coffee about 10:30. I mean, God help me getting to sleep at a reasonable time, but that's not the point. Oh yeah, Ocean Crew racing tonight, I believe. Yep. Very often when you see drivers who are from a league commenting, it's often because they're watching, because they're not there. But Ocean Crew is checking out the stream and racing tonight. Mohammed Yusuf says, watch out for Yami Kamiyami this race, man's getting a point. But that's optimistic, Yami Kamiyami, but good luck to you. I mean, I can't remember how last week. I remember your name from last week, but I can't remember how you did. So, but I wish you the best. Ocean Crew says, "Yep, I'm good. I'm ready." That's good to hear. So am I. Even though it is midnight. But welcome back, everybody, to the Premier Formula Racing League, as we're back here tonight for round 10 of this 13-round season, a season in which I think tonight I will mark 5 races having commentated out of the 10, which means that so far I'll have a 50% attendance after tonight. If I obviously make the next 3 races after that, it'll be more than a 60% attendance by the end of the season, so I'm aiming for that. That is the hope. And then I can sort of say that it hasn't been a complete disaster in terms of my turnout. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that does transpire, because to be honest, I do feel quite bad, because I agreed, as I said to Ernie at the start of the season, I agreed that I'd be commentating full time, and it just hasn't really worked out, but I plan to do so from now on. So yeah, I mean, it's a great league. It's always 20 cars on the track. There's, you know, great pace, really strong cleanliness in terms of, you know, the fair battles that we see out on track in this league. So I do feel like it is worth me staying up until midnight, even though I do feel very tired by the end of it. So it's all good. It's all good. But drivers coming out on their outlaps here for their first attempts here at this Circuit of Catalunya here at Barcelona for tonight's Spanish Grand Prix, as we are approaching the business end of the season. Let's quickly go through the championship standings coming into tonight, because obviously the championship very much in the balance here between the top two contenders, Badman and Antanas. So coming into tonight, the situation is looking a bit like this. We've got Badman leading 136 points, 6 points clear of Antanas, who sits in second on 130. Pardon me, Ernie is in third place on 120, so isn't too far away in terms of the championship battle. Ernie's still very much in that argument, and although maybe hasn't got the raw pace of Badman and Tanis, is generally very consistent. So I think Ernie's got a good chance of being in that fight. And obviously we saw at Monaco, Ernie made that last snap pass for the win a couple of weeks ago, was it, or was it last week? I think it might have even been last week. Do you know what? My sense of time is kind of warped, to be honest with you. Even though I only commentate on 3 leagues now, I don't really know why, but I'm pretty sure it was actually the previous round, wasn't it? Did Ernie nick the win on the final lap? I think it might have been. So yeah, he would have gained points as a result of that. But anyway, so getting back to the championship standing, sorry guys. Badman on 136, Antanas on 130, Ernie on 120, and you got Mountain Storm on 74 points. Ocean Crew sits 5th on 57, with Caleb 6th on 43. HMP Hooligans sits 7th on 41 points. Skadoosh 8th on 36, ahead of Julie, who's 9th on 35, aka Kimmy, completing the top 10 in the standings on 32 points. All Day KPB sits 11th on 27. Perp Drank is 12th on 26, with Trap Ghost 13th on 25. CMAC 14th on 23. Juice in 15th on 19. Likewise, Phylus and RK Wolf both on 19 points in 16th and 17th places. A point back to Francisco Pereira, who sits in 18th on 18 points, with HMFC 19th on 12 points. Jordan Hillier in P20 on 10 points so far this season. Big Timer sits 21st on 9 points. Smidge 22nd on 8 points. Twister in 23rd place on 4 points. Next Level 24th on 2 points, with Fancy 25th on 1. And Yami Kamiyami in 26th, having scored just 1 point so far this season, but backing himself to get some more tonight. So we'll have to keep an eye and see how he's able to do on that one. In the constructors is Mercedes, who lead the way on 163 points. Obviously you've got Antanas, one of the championship contenders, driving for Mercedes, and his teammate appears to have changed mid-season. It's Fancy now who is his teammate, and there must have been an invisible 31 points that were scored by somebody else who's no longer on the standings, because that clearly doesn't add up. I mean, Antalis on 130 and Fancy's on 1, so there's 32 points that have been scored by other drivers which are no longer present in this championship. But they do sit 1 point ahead of Ferrari, who are second on 162 points, with Ernie and Kimmy the drivers for that team. McLaren sits in third place on 159 points, so you've got 3 teams very much in that battle for the championship, 4 points separating those 3 teams. And Badman, the championship leader, is also one of the drivers for McLaren, and C-Mac is his teammate. So plenty up to grabs here in terms of drivers and constructors for this season. It's going to be a cracking season, I'm absolutely certain about that. The first runs in qualifying have gone in. Don't read too much into the first runs, because the track always ramps up in the final part of the session. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be there's going to be a lot of change over the course of the session. But anyway, Antanas currently leads the way on a 112.5. Ernie sits in second place on a 112.9. Both of those two in the pits at the moment. Mountain Storm is coming into the pits, as well as Smidge, and Yami Kamiyami currently in P5 at the moment. He's been backing himself in the comments earlier on tonight at the beginning of the stream, so we'll have to keep a close eye on him and see what he's able to do. But he's not a million miles off of the provisional pole time, and we know that we tend to see the top 3, Antanas, Ernie and Badman, a little bit clear of the rest, so that bodes well for him at the moment. Ocean Crew currently in 7th place, the other driver who's been chiming in here tonight, as he's currently just over a second off of the provisional pole time at this moment in time. But still a long way to go here in this session. Let's double check the audio. Provisional pole time at this moment in time. But still a long way to go here in this session. Yeah, we're good. Audio's good. So yeah, still early stages in this qualifying session here tonight. But Badman still in the pits at the moment, and we've seen this quite a lot actually from Badman over the last few races here at the Premier Formula Racing League. He tends to wait a little bit before getting himself out on the track to do a lap time. I'm not really sure why. I don't know what the reasoning is or the thought process behind it, but he doesn't tend to rush out onto the track to put a lap in. He often does one right at the end of the session. I was saying that he is now getting himself out on track, so clearly he wants to just get a banker lap on the board, I assume. I don't know if he'll get 3 runs in though. He might only get 2 runs in, because you really need to allow for about 5 minutes per run. About a minute and a half for your out lap, minute and a quarter for your lap, and then another minute and a half for your in lap. Maybe about 4.5 minutes maybe getting in and out of the garage. I reckon it's probably about 5 minutes, so he might be a bit tight for time here, Badman. He's probably only going to get the 1 run in this session. Or sorry, the 2 runs, should I say, in this session, rather than the usual 3 that we see from most drivers. But Antanas is getting out there. He's ready to go for another run here, currently on provisional pole position by 0.3 of a second. Ernie currently in 2nd place still, just ahead of Mountain Storm on the leaderboard at this point. C-Mac very close behind. Those 3 guys separated by less than 1/10 of a second at the moment. Ernie, Mountain Storm and C-Mac. Oh, pardon me. As we see, Kibby's gone into 5th place there on a 1:13.0. So it looks like Ernie's got his teammate backing him up here in the potential fight for the constructors with C-Mac as well. So Badman and Ernie's teammates are both up there at the moment. I'm sure Antanas will be hoping that Fancy can get themselves a bit up the order here as well. But C-Mac coming into the pits nonetheless at the end of this current run. And Antanas currently on. Oh my goodness me! Antanas, the provisional pole sitter, has stacked it there on the exit of turn 2 and has absolutely gone flying into the wall. Somehow he's not written the car off. So I mean, he's going to be able to get that front wing. He's going to be able to get that car back in the pits and get a new front wing on it. But that is absolutely unbelievable that he's managed to keep that one in one. Well, kind of in one piece, I guess. The chassis looks all right. The front wing though is leaving a glaring hole. So that has not gone to plan at all there for Antanas. So now he's going to get 1 more run at the end of the session, but well, that's put him on the back foot a little bit here. What's Badman up to? Where's Badman on the track at the moment? We'll have to come and find Badman, because surely he's coming towards the end of his first run here in this session. Coming towards the end of the middle sector now. Currently on a 50.6. Got nothing to compare it to because he hasn't done a lap so far in this session. But here he comes then through into the final few corners here of this Barcelona circuit here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Badman into the final corner now. 1:12.5 is the time to beat. He's going to get a bit of slipstream here. That'll help him out a little bit. And Badman 0.3 shy of Antanas at the moment. Or 2.5. Probably just under 2.5 shy of Antanas. Oh, Mountain Storm there. It's just done an absolutely storming lap there. My goodness me. 1:12.5, but 0.7 of a second quicker than what we've seen from Antanas so far. And Antanas is staying out on the track. What on earth is going on here? Antanas is still on still going around with no front wing. I just I don't really understand that. That's very perplexing. Goodness knows what he's trying to do there, but yeah, it doesn't seem the most logical move, I have to say. It's Ernie into the pits here at the end of this first run that he's on, and having done a time good enough for P4 so far here in this session. 0.3 shy of the provisional pole time. But Mountain Storm there absolutely delivering the goods there, going slightly quicker than Antanas. And if Antanas can't get another lap in here in this session, then Mountain Storm could be lining up on pole here, because Badman hasn't done enough so far. Although we tend to see the pattern over the course of this season so far is that although Antanas usually has the edge in qualifying over Badman, very often in the races he can Badman can have the upper hand. So could we be seeing a similar story here tonight? I'm sure we'll be seeing a bit of a race regardless between those two over the course of this one. Mountain Storm, it looks like we're going on for another lap here, so clearly doesn't feel that the tyres have burned out to any sufficient level. So here he comes in through this middle sector down towards the little kink here. As Trap Ghost has gone up into P7. Decent lap there from Trap Ghost, the driver who very, very nearly won Monaco last week. Was leading until the last lap due to, well, the incident that we saw between Antanas and Badman, which knocked them both down the order. Not Badman, sorry. Oh God, do you know what? It was Skadoosh. It was Skadoosh, sorry, not Badman. Skadoosh. And Trap Ghost ended up with the lead, which then he almost converted to a win. But Ernie hunted him down towards the end of the race and literally pipped him on the last lap of the race. It was the most incredible comeback from Ernie. But both of those two, neither of those two were really expecting to win the race. And suddenly they were left in a battle, locking horns right at the end of the race. And Ernie managed to nick it off of him. But Trap Ghost there into 7th place so far here in this session. But Mountain Storm here currently on provisional pole position, looking to try and improve a little bit here towards the end of this session and try and lower that benchmark or raise the bar, however you want to look at it. He's going to look to try and improve his lap here in this session. He's backed out though, coming through the middle sector, so clearly didn't feel like he was on a good enough lap here. Maybe he'll come in and get some fresh tyres on, because I don't know when he last came in. Big Timer also out there as well as Skadoosh. Skadoosh is on an in-lap by the looks of it, so just coming into the pits. Big Timer also on an in-lap as well, so a lot of drivers on in-laps here. See, Twister's got into P10 with that latest lap. And Mountain Storm finally coming in after a qualifying run, which I think has gone on at least about 5 laps. So he'll be getting a fresh set of boots on for the final run to try and hold on to his pole position, because there's going to be a lot of drivers pretty close who are going to be gunning for him on their final runs of the session here. Kimi, coming towards the end of the first sector, is currently down by 0.07 of a second on this lap that he's currently on. Perp Drank goes into 11th place with that latest lap. As we see Phylos here, just coming to turn 1, just starting a lap here is Phylos. Juice is just coming towards the end of the first sector, and it's currently 0.03 of a second down at this moment in time, as Ocean Crew mentioning he's not really a fan of Spain. Ocean Crew currently P15 at the moment in this session. Not where we're used to seeing Ocean Crew. He's usually in the top 10, sometimes top 5, usually up there at the sharp end, but doesn't appear so tonight, and we know why now. So we've got Kimi here, who's just finished a lap there, P6. Was that an improvement? I think it might have been. Was it? I'm not sure actually, you know. I don't know actually. Didn't quite catch whether or not his lap time changed there, but definitely just did a lap. And he won't have time for another one here unless he goes for 2 consecutive flying laps here, so he might continue at it here for this current lap that he's on. No, he's 7/10 down, so that's going to be the summit of Kimi's ambitions here in qualifying tonight. It'll be P6 at best here for Ernie's teammate. Ernie just starting the lap, starting another lap here, just a 10th down on that previous lap on his personal best. His personal best was 3/10 off for the provisional pole time being set by Mountain Storm. Does Ernie have the tyres to go for another run here, or is he going to be coming in at the end of this run? He hasn't got time to get back into the pits and get another lap in, so if he's going to do one more run, it'll have to be on this lap. He's currently just under a 10th up through the first sector, despite being on tyres which have already done a lap here, so maybe Ernie's got the chance to push himself up the order a little bit here. Currently P4 on this leaderboard. One of a few drivers who might have a shot at pole here if he can keep the tyres in on this second flying lap. If he can do that, he'll have a good chance. Here he comes then, out to this little straight down towards turn 9, which used to be a tight left-hander back in the day. It used to go up that sort of area there, but Ernie looks like he's on a decent lap so far, wants to stay tight to this curb so he can get onto the power nice and early and then maximise his speed here through this double right-hander, flat out in qualifying. Here he comes then, Ernie through the final corner of the Lee Coast here at the Premier Formula Racing League. To the line he comes, and he goes on to provisional pole there by 400ths of a second. So Ernie has sent a message out to the rest of them here and letting Badman and Antanas know he is very much still a contender here in this championship, as Mountain Storm's currently out there at the moment looking to try and improve. He was the provisional pole sitter for a lot of this session, but so far looking like he's just lost that top spot for the time being. Antanas is playing a dangerous game here. He's trying to get track position, he's trying to get some clean air. He's got about 10 seconds to get to the line. Could he have blown it? I mean, it's going to be very, very close here. Antanas is going to be touch and go as to whether he gets over the line. I think he's just about going to make it, and he does, just by the skin of his teeth. So Antanas here starts one more flying lap here in this session, but that was too close for comfort there as Mountain Storm goes on to provisional pole position there by under a tenth of a second. In fact, less than half a tenth there ahead of Ernie so far. Antanas is, what's his first sector like? That was definitely not his first sector. Let's see what it's like here. Top right hand corner says he's just under 2/10 up to the first sector, so he's flying at this point. Badman is finding nothing in the middle sector. He's done. That's going to be P4 at best here for Badman. It's going to be between Antanas and Ernie, I think. Oh, sorry, Antanas and... No, Ernie's done as well. He's coming in at the end of this lap. He's on an in lap. So Antanas is the only driver who could take pole away from Mountain Storm, who just pipped Ernie a few moments ago after Ernie moved on to provisional pole. Badman managed to find an absolute with time in that final sector there. He was 4/10 down in the middle sector. He's managed to somehow improve his time and move ahead of Antanas here. That must have been an absolutely bonkers final sector there from Badman. But Antanas here coming through the final couple of corners. And can he snatch pole away from Mountain Storm? Here he comes then around the final corner now to the line. Antanas is going to take another pole position here. And it wasn't even close. It could never have surely been in doubt, as Antanas blows them all away by over half a second. And that once again showcasing his dominance in qualifying here for the Premier Formula Racing League this season. And the thing is, his main championship contenders 3 places behind him, and his other championship contenders 2 places behind him. So Mountain Storm currently being the thorn in the side for the other 2 championship contenders here tonight. Antanas very much making a statement there, as Yami Kamiyami, Mohammed Yusuf there in the comments saying, talk about that P5. I tell you what, it's we can be talking about that for a while there, mate, because that was a heck of a job. And to be top 5, well, obviously behind those 4, I mean, that's no mean feat. So fantastic job there from Yami Kamiyami, getting it well at the sharp end here in a 20 car grid. That's no mean feat. But that is that then for qualifying. So it is going to be Antanas there lining up on pole, just over half a second clear of Mountain Storm in second place, with Ernie and Badman on row 2, Yami Kamiyami alongside C-Mac on row 3, with Kimmy and Smidge, Skadoosh and Julie rounding out the top 10. And then behind those guys, we've got Deuce, Trap Ghost, Ocean Crew, and Twister, with Perp, Drank, P15 ahead of All Day KPB, Big Timer, and oh my goodness, it's just gone off. And then you've got Phylos there ahead of Dastic Daddy and Fancy there, rounding out the classification here. Oh, pardon me. Oh, pardon me.
here we go then. The formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race.
So here are the guys getting ready to go for the formation lap here for the Spanish Grand Prix here at the Premier Formula Racing League, as we've got Antanas, Mountain Storm, Ernie, Badman, Yamika Miami and C-Mac, the top 6, all starting on the medium tyres for this one. This Barcelona track being quite infamous over the years for not being too kind to drivers on the hard tyres. Generally, the softer compounds have worked better around this track. They don't tend to burn up too quickly either. So, although the softs do, actually, especially through those the long right-handers, the left rear soft tyre does tend to take a bit of a pounding. But I've heard certain setups can actually help that. Certain one. But nonetheless, lights are on at the head of the grid, and we are lights out and we are underway. And it looks as though Antanas there got a decent start there off of the line, as Mountain Storm's going to look to try and stay ahead of Ernie here down towards turn 1. Here they come then, and looking like Antanas got a clear lead there going into the corner, as Badman they're almost running to the back of Mountain Storm going through turn 1. Ernie here as still behind Badman at the moment, aka Kimi ahead of C-Mac, completing the top 6 drivers at the moment, but looking like a clean first lap here for the most part, as Skadoosh is out of the race. So Skadoosh has crashed out already. Auto KPB may have been caught up in that because there's something wrong there. The front right end plate is missing, and a part of the front wing on the right hand side has also certainly come off. But Auto KPB and Skadoosh in the wars here on the opening lap of the race. VSC I think has been deployed as Antanas leads ahead of Mountain Storm, with aka Kimi into 4th place there ahead of Ernie. So Badman they're still running in 3rd place ahead of Kimi. And then there's Ernie, C-Mac, Smidge there ahead of Trap Ghost, with Yami Kamiyami having a not great start. They're down to 9th place, but a long way to go for Yami Kamiyami at the moment. But not the start he would have hoped for after a cracking qualifying a few moments ago. But we got Antanas leading towards the end of the first lap. Still VSC conditions at this moment, so no reprieve for the for that situation just at the moment then. To come over the line here to complete lap 1 of the race, and Antanas still it's got the advantage, and actually looks like we're underway. So we're back under green flag again, and Mountain Storm coming under heavy pressure here from Badman at the moment. Badman looking to get on with this one on this restart. Badman having taken the 3rd spot away from Ernie to right at the end of the qualifying after being 4 tenths down to the middle sector, and somehow found that in the final sector to improve his time. But he's currently running all over. Well, actually no, he's falling back into the clutches of Kemi a little bit actually now, as they came through the towards the end of the first sector here. Antanas still out the front, Mountain Storm still keeping him on his toes at this moment in time. So there they all are, filing through your shot. A couple of drivers going a little bit wide there out of the turn 8 right-hander. But looking very clean here since the opening lap of the race. No major dramas so far. Mountain Storm I think it's going to have DRS down the start finish straight, so we could be seeing a chance for him to put Antanas under a bit of pressure, but I think it's a bit too far away to really be a major threat to him at this point. Badman, the fastest lap of the race from 3rd place, he'll be a threat. That's for absolutely certain. So there they all are going into turn 1 once again here. So Badman's found a way through ahead of Mountain Storm here, although it doesn't look like this battle's over yet. Mountain Storm looking back to the outside here, down towards turn 9. He swooped back around him there, so Badman gave the DRS away. I think maybe just took a bit too much into turn 8 potentially. That was to make that move and then Ultimately, Mountain Storm was able to come back with the immediate reply, but with this battle going on, it's giving Antanas a bit of breathing room out the front and a chance to maybe just start to pull away from these drivers at this point. Badman's now going to look to try and get a run here down the start finish straight. Is he going to be close enough? He's also got Ernie on his tail as well. Badman's got to watch out for Ernie, because Ernie could be there to spoil the party and pick up the pieces if he can't dispatch Mountain Storm here. Ernie also, the Antanas, will be rubbing his hands together at this opportunity here tonight. It's his championship contenders currently stuck behind the Williams at Mountain Storm, who pulled an absolute, well, pulled a rabbit out of the hat in the qualifying, didn't he? Putting it on the front row alongside Antanas and qualifying ahead of two of the big three in this Premier Formula Racing League here tonight. But at the moment, Antanas with a second and a half of a gap over Mountain Storm at the moment. Badman trying to apply the pressure here on the back of Mountain Storm as they come down the little straight towards turn 9 once again. Oh, as we see Darcy Daddy there getting very out of shape at the end of the straight, and potentially might be giving a chance to Ocean Crew here. Ocean Crew's going to have a free hit at him because Darcy Daddy doesn't have the DRS. He's 2 seconds behind the car in front, so surely this is going to be a routine move here for him. We see Badman there's made the move on Mountain Storm into second place, so that's now P2 there for the championship leader, as Twister and Yamikami Army battling here over 8th and 9th places. Julian Perpdrank running quite close, but for the time being, Ocean Crew has managed to get ahead of Darcy Daddy up into 13th places. Darcy Daddy very out of shape there going through turn 3. That could allow Juice to knock him while he's down here, but not quite. He's just going to slot him for the time being, and no major opportunities there for him. Mountain Storm here on the back of Badman is towards turn 9 once again here. So we see, Trap Ghost coming into the pits here at the end of lap 5. So very early stop here for Trap Ghost. Not sure really. I mean, soft tyres could have been the reason why, I suppose, but seems like a very early stop here. The Trap Ghost fitting the hard tyres on. I doubt they'll go to the end, but they'll go a fair portion into the race. Maybe enough to put the softs on towards the end. But nonetheless, Badman now ahead of Mountain Storm in that fight for second place, which is going to give him a chance to maybe just try and close the gap to the race leader, Antanas, at this moment in time. But the gap in the championship coming in tonight, 6 points between Badman and Antanas in the favour of Badman. So if Antanas wins tonight, he will be leading the championship by just the 1 point. Obviously that's actually no, it'd be 2 points with the pole position, and depending on fastest laps, could be 3 points, could only be 1 point if Badman gets the if Badman gets fastest lap. But so far it's looking good for Antanas, with a gap just under 2 seconds here to Badman. Mountain Storm currently in the slipstream and the DRS here of Badman, but just a bit too far back at the moment, going into turn 1. Ernie and Kimmy there right behind with C-Mac. Bit of a gap back to Smidge there running in 8th place, as we've got to move here for position. Julie looking to the outside here, and it's going to try and go all the way around, but can't do it there on Twister. Twister for the time being hanging on to that one, and now Yami Kamiyami is going to look to try and get involved in this one, as Julie couldn't make that move stick on the salvo, and now he's going to be under pressure here from the V-Carb as they go into turn 5, but he's just a bit too far away there, sorry, turn 4 even, and Yami Kamiyami with a time. Twister there running. Are you going to invite Julie in here for a possible attack? Here they come then, out the final corner once again. So Julie here in the slipstream with some DRS as well. And right behind them, you also got Perp Drank here attacking on the back of Yami Kamiyami. But Julie here to the inside is going to make that move there into turn 1. And Yami Kamiyami here might be, he's managed to get back ahead there of Perp Drank going into turn 1. So there we go, Julie there moving up into 7th place with that one. And Yami Kamiyami for the time being holding on to that position. Also had DRS and slipstream of his own, which helped him out there. Looks to the inside there of Twister into turn 4, but just a bit too far away, almost tapping him there. I think he might have just made contact slightly with his rear wing there, or certainly with his with the back of the car, not the rear wing, because he'd have had to be quite high up for that. But he had to be on floating jacks. But Yami Kamiyami for the time being still right on his rear end here, as they now come through turn 8 onto this little straight once again. I think that Twister will have DRS on Julie still, which will help him to defend here, and he's able to click to stay well ahead there of Yami Kamiyami into turn 9 for the time being. But interesting fight between these guys, and I reckon that Yami Kamiyami is going to have a chance here to make this move, because Twister's no longer in that DRS here on Julie as they're coming around the final few corners towards the long main straight. Keeping an eye on the gap at the front. It's just about 2 seconds through down Tannis and Badman, so it's a top 2 very evenly matched at this point. Badman's got a bit more pace than Mountain Storm as well. He's able to pull out a bit of that gap so far. But Perp Drank here still on the back of Yami Kamiyami, still can't make that move there for 8th place, and Yami Kamiyami holding on to that one as Twister's into the pits at the end of lap 8, so he's coming in. Also a front wing there going on as well, so clearly a bit of damage that he picked up over the course of the first stint. It wasn't major enough to really be... It's worth getting fixed for the next 25 laps of the race, and I suppose that makes sense. Badman starting to bring the gap down a little bit on this lap, is getting about a 10th so far, but it's really ebbing and flowing here between these two, and every time that Badman pushes you get a little bit more confident, and then you're a bit likely to make a small mistake and then it just knocks you back a few tenths. So it really does, when I say ebb and flows, it really does. The gaps can give you a bit of hope, but then one small tiny little error and you'll lose a couple of tenths, and it really does, the gap will just reinstate itself. But Antanas for the time being has the lead as they come into turn 1 here on lap 10 of the race there. Badman still in 2nd place. We've got Smidge and Yami Kamiyami both in the pits here. Oh, as Trap Ghost there runs into the back of Fancy a little bit, going through that that little section there, but it looks like Trap Ghost is managed to get out. Oh no, and he loses there. Fancy there loses it, and Yami Kamiyami moving ahead into 16th place, but Fancy there getting well out of shape coming out of turn 8, and that's going to be, I think, front wing there. I think the front wing may have been displaced. We're going to hopefully get a trackside view of the car in a minute. For some reason it's showing us the onboard even though we were selected on the trackside view, so not really sure what's going on there, but don't mind. Yeah, so Fancy's missing the front right end plate and a considerable portion of the right side of that front wing, so I imagine we'll be coming into the pits at the end of this lap as a result of that. Antenna's still leading the race by 2.5 seconds here at the Badman as they're coming into turn 9 here on lap 11 of the race. So Antenna's extending the gap over Badman a little bit over the last few laps, maybe about a tenth or so a lap quicker on the recent evidence, although saying that, Badman's just brought the gap down a bit here through this section of the track, and you can't really read too much into it. It's very, very even between these two. This race could be decided through strategy. To be honest with you, it's one of those races where you do feel like that is a very likely outcome in the grand scheme of things, but Antenna still help with track positioning. It could be that qualifying proves to be pretty pivotal in the outcome of this race. It's Mountain Storm coming under increasing pressure here from Ernie as they're coming through turn 4 here. See Twisted there getting ahead of Darcy Daddy up into 12. That's because Darcy Daddy's in the pits. So Darcy Daddy there putting a new set of tyres on, putting the medium tyres on. So that's 2 medium stints ticked off there for Darcy Daddy, which means that a hard stint will be required at the end of the race. Oh, pardon me. Or maybe a soft stint. If we can get these mediums a fair way into the second stint. For Antenna though, clearly loving life out the front. Coming over the line here to start lap 13 of the race. And gradually extending the gap here over Badman, bit by bit. He's not massively quicker, but it's just a fraction quicker so far than the McLaren driver, and it's really beginning to show. Mountain Storm still just ahead of Ernie. There's C-Mac and Julie, who's not too far behind there in P6, as we've got Ocean Crew into the pits here at the end of lap 13 as well, end of lap 12. And Ocean Crew there putting on a set of medium tyres. Trap Ghost and Yami coming on with their own drivers so far to have picked up penalties here in this one, so they've all kept their noses very clean so far. But yeah, they're doing a good job so far. We've got Ernie here closing up onto the back of Mountain Storm once again here as they're coming down the start finish straight. Still seems just like he's a bit too far back at the moment here going into turn 1. Not really within range to put him under any serious pressure at this point. C-Mac there's got Julie on the back of him. Julie there just sneaking back into the DRS here, so could potentially be a threat over the course of this lap. As we see Phylos into the pits here, getting those hard tyres off, which he started the race on. So clearly a 2-stop strategy here for Phylos, as we'll be needing to run the medium tyre, which is now going on. Ocean Crew looking like he's coming under a bit of pressure here from Trap Ghost. I was saying that, no, just come out of the pits, so that's why. So came out of the pits a lap ago, and I think it's just got ahead of him actually. So Ocean Crew is going to now be pulling away in some clean air. But Phylos, having coming into the pits, is now on the back of All Day KPB, so we all need to dispatch All Day KPB as soon as possible, I'm sure. Being on 11 lap fresher hot medium tyres, he will be getting held up at this point, so wants to dispatch the Red Bull as soon as possible here. Sorry, the V-carb, should I say. As Phylos here, getting a nice slipstream and a bit of DRS here down the little straight, but too far back here going into turn 9. Oh my goodness me, it's gone very wide there going through the corner, and that could have derailed his chance to make a move into turn 1. As we also see a few more drivers coming in at the end of this lap. So we've got Mountain Storm, Ernie and Julie all came in at the end of lap 14. Mountain Storm has gone for the hard tyres. Julie has gone for the hards as well. But Ernie going for the medium tyres for this second stint. As Phylos there making a move on all the KPB. It was looking like it might have blown his chance going into the turn 9 kind of hairpin, but has managed to make that stick there nicely. Managed to stay close there through his final few corners on those fresher tyres, and that is a job well done there from him. Gap at the front between Antanas and Badman still continuing to increase here. Antanas seems to have a grip over this race so far, as he's just coming into the pits now. So is Badman, so Badman's not going to benefit from any undercut or any kind of delta, so he's just going to have to try and close the 3-second gap on pure pace, and that's going to be a challenge. But can he do it? He's got plenty of laps here left in this race. 18 laps left to go, but it's going to be a straight out fight for the win in terms of race pace, as Kimi takes the lead for the time being. Obviously the temporary race leader, and Antanas the net race leader, because Kimi will need to come in for at least one more stop. We believe Antanas and Badman should be good to go to the end of the race. See Mountain Storm here on the back of Smidge here as they're coming out of turn 5. So Mountain Storm on those 5-lap pressure medium tyres will be wanting to get ahead as soon as possible here. Smidge will be stopping again, so Mountain Storm won't want to get held up too much. Mountain Storm, it's got to do 19 laps on these hard tyres. It's doable, it's definitely possible, but you're pushing it a little bit. I think Antanas and Badman are just about probably safe. 18 laps on a hard tyre around this circuit is pretty realistic. Mountain Storm probably in a small grey area. I'd say is more than likely going to get them to the flag, but it's not going to be easy, as we see him coming out the final corner here. He's going to get the DRS on the back of Smidge here. Smidge is going to be a sitting duck here for the McLaren as he gets DRS and a massive overspeed and breezes past him like he's not even there. That was Formula 1 versus Formula 1.5 there, and Mountain Storm up into the clean air, as Ernie also finding his way through, and Smidge getting a 3-second penalty as well. Just a bit of kick in the teeth there after losing 2 places. But Ernie also on fresh medium tyres will have to pit again, so he'll be wanting to get on with this. He'll be needing to get ahead of Mountain Storm and pull a bit of a gap, I think, as soon as he can here, because he needs to pit again. He's not going to be able to get his medium tyres to the end, as Mountain Storm having a bit of a correction there on the curb going through turn 5. Ernie will be looking to try and make this move, I think, into turn 9 out of the DRS zone down this little straight which is coming up in a moment. Is Ernie going to be close enough, or is he going to wait until the main straight in a few corners time? He's got the faster tyre at this point in the stint in performance between his tyres and Mountain Storm's, so he needs to get ahead and pull a gap whilst his tyres are still the superior tyre here. We've got AK Kimi into the pits at the end of lap 16. Look, about 17 actually, so we're half distance here in this Spanish Grand Prix. Ernie in the slipstream with the DRS is going to get closer and closer to the back here of Mountain Storm. Looks to the inside here down towards turn 1. Is this going to be job done here for Ernie? I think it well and truly is, and he's up the inside there, and Ernie up into 3rd place so far in this race, but needs to pit again here in this one. So he's got work to do over the course of this middle and final stints. Antanas' gap to Badman currently staying at just about 3 seconds at the moment, so as it stands here it's looking like Antanas in cruise control here. Has had the lead for a while. Badman's not looking like closing the gap at this point, not really. Oh no! As the Mercedes there bidding it into the wall, Fancy, who was just being lapped there by Ernie, Mountain Storm and Smidge, has just absolutely stacked it into the wall. And is that going to be a safety car? Well, it is. And who's that going to benefit? Well, not really anyone, to be honest with you, because I think most have been into the pits, so well, doesn't make any sense for 2 drivers to come in. Badman's going to come in for fresh tyres here. the irony is it could have negatively affected his teammates' fight with Badman for the win here tonight. Depends what others do. Badman into the pits to put some fresh hard tyres on. The guys behind him also coming in. So looks like he's going to come out with 3 lap fresher tyres than Antanas, and he's going to be right behind him here. Albeit he'll have Mountain Storm in between him. Julie also coming through, and so is Yami Kamiyami. So Badman is going to emerge in P6. So he's still going to have plenty of obstacles to overcome here. Depends how quickly he can dispatch these 4 guys that are in between himself and Antanas here. But he's certainly not going to have it easy. I think Badman, he should be able to get ahead. Oh, he's in 5th now, so come out ahead of a C-Mac. So he's got to try and pass Yami Kamiyami and Julie, who we know he's got probably more pace than on merit. And then Mountain Storm could provide a bit of a fight on 4 lap older tyres. Might not be too much of an issue. So it's going to be interesting now that Badman's come in and rolled the dice with a pit stop. Probably felt like being 3 seconds back and Antanas holding him at bay, probably felt like he didn't have the pace to win this race tonight on pure pace, and maybe this was where he could have that chance if he rolled the dice. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity for him to try something different that might end up getting him to the checkered flag first here tonight. But Antanas still leads the way under safety car. I reckon we'll be going to the end of lap 20 or 21. Should be a 12 or 13 lap dash to the end of the race from here. This was where he could have that. Here we go then, guys. Back underway here for the Spanish Grand Prix for round 10 of this 13-round season for the Premier Formula Racing League. Antanas gets us back underway. He'll be wanting to make a break for it whilst he can here, because he knows that Badman, his main contender here for this win, is on fresher tyres. 3-lap fresher tyres. It's going to make a difference of a couple of tenths a lap, you would think. But is Badman going to have too much of a task to overhaul for that to be of any avail over the course of the rest of this race? But Antanas currently has the advantage at the moment. Badman currently on the back of Yami Kamiyami, who's up into 4th place right now. Elected to stay out on his hard tyres, so he's rolled the dice a little bit here. Yami Kamiyami was pretty confident in the comments section at the start of the stream, and to be fair, definitely walked the walk in the qualifying session. Managed to put it P5, but so far in the race. Has struggled sort of down towards the lower end of the top 10, but has just given it a go, rolled the dice here for this safety car period, which has left him in P4 at the moment, right in front of the championship leader, who's going to be trying to make hay while the sun shines here in the closing laps here of this Spanish Grand Prix. DRS enabled here on the second lap of the restart. Mountain Storm almost out of a second of the range there to Antanas, but just about staying within that range for the time being. Then Badman getting ahead of Yami Kamiyami into 4th place. That was a crucial move there for Badman in his quest to try and win this race here tonight. He absolutely needed that to try and keep himself in the hunt here. He's about just under 3 seconds off the lead at the moment, so already Antanas starting to slip away into the distance here. But Mountain Storm's keeping him on his toes, to be fair. Mountain Storm is not allowing him to run off into the sunset at the moment. As Badman here is now pulling up onto the back of Julie, and Julie's got no DRS here, so will be probably a sitting duck down the main straight. Badman will try and use the DRS down here to put himself within striking distance and increase his chances of being able to make that move down the straight. Here we come then into turn 9, and this is now going to be where Badman sets up this move. As long as he can stay close and get a good exit out of the final corner, he will tee up this opportunity here to have a drive at the Haas car into turn 1. Here we go then, right out the final corner now with the DRS and slipstream. Badman running a bit wide there out the final corner. Maybe a bit of understeer potentially in the dirty air, but here we go with a bit of DRS. He can make the move very easily here into turn 1, and that's job done there into 3rd place there for Badman. C-Mac also getting ahead of Yami Kamiyami there, up into 5th place as well on those fresher tyres. Yami Kamiyami potentially a bit of a sitting duck here as we approach the final part of this race, as we see a bit of a slide there from the Ferrari of Ernie, who just seemed like he was not too confident there as he went through turn 3. But still behind Yami Kamiyami for the time being, and C-Mac up into 5th place there with that one. But Badman into 3rd place, only about 2 seconds off the lead right now, so he's closed in over the course of the lap as Ernie now moves ahead of Yami Kamiyami up into 6th place as well. And Antanas still out the front with just under a second of a gap here over Mountain Storm, Badman and Judy there in 3rd and 4th places. C-Mac. There is Ernie with Yami Kamiyami and Smidge, Kimmy and Perp Drank there completing the top 10 at the moment. But the leaders here coming through the final corner here as they're about to finish lap 23 of the race with 10 laps left to go here in this Spanish Grand Prix. And Antanas out the front, but Badman is coming for these guys. He'll have about a 3/10 of a lap advantage in terms of his tyres. He's done a fair bit less distance on them so far, and he's going to be absolutely gunning for the race leader here. The pace was pretty even when they had the same age tyres on, but now with this tyre advantage, he's going to surely look to try and make the most of it. As Kimmy there's got ahead of Yami Kamiyami up into 8th place, and Yami Kamiyami unfortunately going a bit backwards here at this point in the race. Phylos has got ahead of Perp Drank up into 12th place. That's the job done there for position there. But Mountain Storm still within a second of Antanas at the moment as they're coming out of turn 8 once again. And Badman just knocking on the door at the moment, but still just a bit too far back as they go into turn 9. So here comes Badman then, all over the back of Mountain Storm down towards turn 1, still a bit too far away. They're going into the corner as we see a bit of a lock up there from Mountain Storm. They're running it a bit dangerous there at the moment. Smidge has moved ahead of C-Mac up into P6, going through turn 1. It's in the background there, we just saw Perp looking to the inside of Phylos going through the first corner, but not quite in a range to do a great deal there. But I tell you what, the top 3 are separated by, well, less than a second, all 3 of them at this moment in time. Ocean Cruise moved ahead of Yami Kamiyami now up into 9th place, so it's another driver who's picking him off here. Is round the outside there goes Ocean Crew, the 2 guys who are commenting on the stream earlier on tonight. Currently locked horns in the battle for 9th place, but the battle out the front is going to be where the big money's paid out here tonight, and it's going to be between Antanas, Mountain Storm and Badman for the podium finishes. But in what order, we're going to find out surely over the next 8 laps of this one. Badman knocking on the door of 2nd place here. Mountain Storm keeping himself within a second of the race leader Antanas, but Badman's got to be the favourite out of these 3 because he's got 4 lap pressure tyres, then Antanas, 3 lap pressure tyres, then Mountain Storm. Oh, sorry, 3 lap pressure tyres, then other way around, sorry. But he's got fresher tyres, significantly fresher tyres than both of these 2. So he's going to be looking to try and use that advantage to his advantage here. As we see Trap Ghost there moving ahead of Perp Trunk up into 12th place. Phylos there in the foreground, right behind his teammate Twister at the moment, but now they all are going through turn 4 at the moment. As Yami Kamiyami has just come in for some fresh medium tyres, so clearly not feeling those hards there. Let's come in for one more stop, so let's see what he can do in these final few laps of the race. As Phylos here's gone ahead of Perptrank up into 12th place as well now, so Perptrank going backwards a bit here. Well, in fact, no, did Phylos just, no, sorry, Phylos just lost out Trap Ghost, sorry, I do apologise. Phylos there must have made mistakes. He was on the back of his teammate Twister. Oh, it was the Haster diving down the inside, and Perptrank just managed to stay ahead of Juice there after Juice, I think, momentarily. Oh, sorry, that was the V-Carb actually. No, sorry, it was the V-Carb. I do apologise, sorry. Having a mare tonight. The V-Carb there, all KPB it was, diving up the inside of Big Timer as they went into turn 9, so he did that move brilliantly there. I'll just just seeing on the replay on my monitor the stuff that I miss. I can watch a replay and actually see. I can fact check my own reactions to things. But anyway, Antanas, Mountain Storm and Badman still the top 3, still separated by not very much at the moment as they're continuing to go at it here for the lead of the race. Antanas, he's gapped 0.6 of a second right now over Mountain Storm, still a second between them. Julie not too far away, and will definitely be there to capitalise if these guys do trip over each other. As Smidge has gone off onto the grass and has had a moment there coming through the middle sector, so he's first went off onto the grass. Let's have a look. The front wing is intact. What about the front wing end plates? Let's have a little look. Yeah, they look fine. I don't know why he's backed out of it there. He could have easily recovered that, but clearly feels like he's not in a position to do so for whatever reason. So Smidge is retired from the race, and what a shame there to see Smidge throw in the towel after getting 27 laps in. You'd think just finish the race, but clearly not in a mood to do so. I can kind of understand it. But Badman here nonetheless on the back of Mountain Storm as they're coming through turn 8 here, about to go down this little straight. Only not too far away here on those hard tyres. Could be able to close in on Julie here, although has got a penalty early, so that will definitely affect his finishing position if he can get ahead of one of these guys, because he'll probably end up losing it anyway on the penalties. But Antanas here starting lap 29, 5 laps left to go. Mountain Storm coming under increased pressure from Badman, but he's also dropped a little bit off of Antanas, or did until that start finish straight, and has gained enormously with the DRS. But the thing is, if Antanas can't pull a second to Mountain Storm, then Mountain Storm's going to have the DRS, which is only going to halt Badman in his attempts to try and overtake Mountain Storm for second place. So Badman could be well, stuck in a situation where he's in a DRS trade, and Antanas could be playing a Carlos Sainz type move here, where he's just keeping Mountain Storm within DRS so that Badman's fresh tyres can't be utilised properly, and we saw it in Singapore in 2022 with Carlos Sainz, and it could be another situation where we're seeing exactly the same thing here tonight. Might have been 2023, I can't quite remember, but it was a few years ago at Singapore, I know that. But at the moment it's Antanas leading them through the final few corners. Mountain Storm has still got Batman very much within his catchment at the moment. Here they come then through the final corner once again. Antanas, Mountain Storm, Batman, the top three drivers, and Julie has actually gained on them, and Ernie could also potentially be gaining on them as well now. So this could very quickly become a 5-way battle for the lead. It's currently a 4-way battle for the lead, and Julie is definitely in this fight despite being a lap old tyres. So these drivers are starting to just get each other's heads here, slow each other down potentially, and it's bringing other drivers into this train of cars here. So Antanas still with that lead, and I think it's pretty clear at this point that Antanas is trying to use that DRS train to prevent Badman from being able to use his fresher tyres here. And this is one of those moments where you have to, although it's not in the spirit of racing, you have to kind of take your hat off to the intelligence and the tactical nature of such a move, because it really is, you have to be so aware of what's going on to be driving at full speed, to be on the limit, to be pushing and trying to get every bit of pace out of the car that you can, and at the same time playing a strategic game like that. It's you have to be very on the ball. But here we come then through the final few corners of lap 30, about to start lap 31. So we've got 3 laps left to go here in the Spanish Grand Prix, and Badman is still trying to force initiative on the back of Mountain Storm, but Mountain Storm again with DRS on Antanas, again getting that a little bit closer there to the race leader into turn 1, and Badman unable to do anything at the moment about it. But can he maybe be close enough to send one into turn 4? Again, just looks like he's a bit too far back at the moment. Can he send one into any of these braking zones? As he looks to get a good exit here out of turn 4. I'll tell you what, Badman could have a chance here. Can he keep himself on the outside here? He's going to try and go around the long way here of Mountain Storm. Badman, if he can get a good exit here, he's going to have a great chance of making this one stick. Here we go, side by side, on board with the McLaren. He's going to have to keep himself pinned around the outside here, and he's going to tell you what, he's giving us a great fight here, is Mountain Storm, but Badman gets that job done there going through turn 8. He's going to get the DRS now on Antanas, which is going to help him cement that move, and Badman finally makes that move and can now try and chase down his championship rival. His other championship rival, Ernie's currently running in P5, and with a penalty, it's looking like it might not be his night here tonight. But this battle between these two, Antanas and Badman, surely going to go down to the wire here in the final lap of this Spanish Grand Prix. We've got 2 laps left to go here, but the gap is just under a second. Badman will get the DRS and will be able to put Antanas under tremendous pressure over these next couple of laps of the race. But potentially his best chance is going to be this time next lap, on the final lap going into turn 1. Either that, or he's going to have to lunge one into the turn 9 on the final lap, at which point we will be going through the final few corners of the race. So Badman's got a chance here on his fresher tyres, but is Antanas going to hold on for this? The top 2 in the championship are going to fight this one out, but Antanas has just extended the gap here a little bit through the first sector. Badman's just lost a bit, although he now brings it back a little bit here coming out of turn 5. As here we come then towards the 6 and 7 chicane. And how close is Badman going to be here? He's going to have another dose of DRS down towards turn 9, which keep him in good stead. But Antanas, it's truly serious. Well, it's clearly clear now that he was trying to keep Mountain Storm in that DRS, because he's now almost extending the gap to the point where Badman doesn't have DRS anymore. So I think it's now becoming very apparent what Antanas' game was. Is Badman even going to have DRS here down the straight? It's going to be close. Do you know what? I don't think he does. So Antanas has pulled off an absolute masterstroke here, and looks like he has gone and taken the win here with a brilliant strategy. And now that Badman's got himself into clean air and within that DRS, Antanas has gone, oh no you don't. And that is absolutely phenomenal driving there from Antanas. Badman there in second place, Mountain Storm and Julie fighting out for 3rd and 4th there, with Ernie P5 at the moment. So there they all are coming through your shot. Final lap battles here. We've got Juice here currently trying to put pressure on the back of Phylos in the fight for 11th place. Phylos there comfortably ahead there going into turn 5. Apart from that, doesn't look there's a whole lot going on there in terms of on-track battles at this point. What can Juice do here as we're coming through the final stages of this Spanish Grand Prix? But for Antanas, he has shown his pace, he's shown his hand in these last couple of laps here after sandbagging a bit, trying to keep Mountain Storm in that DRS so that Badman couldn't get ahead of Mountain Storm. But Badman did eventually find his way through, and Antanas decided to drop the hammer and show what he could do here. Antanas out the final corner here is going to take the win for the Spanish Grand Prix here at the Premier Formula Racing League for round 10 of this 13 round season. Badman second ahead of Mountain Storm in third, with Judy over in fourth, Ernie fifth. Kimi finishes 6th place here in the end ahead of C-Mac, who comes over in 7th, Ocean Crew 8th, Twister in 9th ahead of Trap Ghost, who completes the top 10. Farless over in 9th on the penalties there with Juice 10th, Big Timer 12th there. Juice there 11th, Big Timer 12th, Trap Ghost 13th place there, with All Day KPB crossing the line in 14th in the end, as Perp Drank has lost it on the final lap of the race here. And oh my goodness me, what on earth is going on there? So Perp Drunk's going to limp around the final corner here in 15th place, I think. And Yami Kamiyama is going to front up the final corner here to take P16. So it's that then. But Antanas is the race winner here for the Spanish Grand Prix here at the Circuit de Catalunya here at Barcelona. Badman ended up P2 after managing to get ahead of Mountain Storm in the closing laps of the race. But Antanas there takes the lead of the championship here tonight by, I think, 1 point. It depends on fastest laps, or no, 2 points actually might be. Could be 2 points, or if Badman got the fastest lap, 1 point. If Antanas got the fastest lap, it will be a 3-point gap in the championship. Let's have a little look. So fastest lap, I don't think it was anyone in the top 10. Yami Kamiyami got the fastest lap, so that means that Antanas takes the lead of the championship by 2 points going into the final 3 races of the season. So all to play for here in this one. Ernie not having a great night here tonight, loses 15 points to the top 2. I think he's going to be over 30 points off of the championship lead now, so Ernie is going to be very much on the back foot here after this one. But for Antanas and Badman, we're set for a cracking final 3 race of the season, and it should be an exciting one. But thanks guys, thanks to the Premier Formula Racing League as always for having me. Absolute pleasure commentating on this league, phenomenal racing, and thanks to Ernie as always for inviting me along. But I'll see you all soon.